Hey, what's up, everybody? You need to stop saving for retirement. Wait, what? That is horrible advice. Why would I create a video on stop saving for retirement? Well, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and admit that that title is definitely misleading. I do not mean you should stop putting money into an IRA, Roth IRA, a 401k, or other work sponsored retirement plan or a brokerage account. So I'm not focused in on the saving word when I say stop saving for retirement. I'm focused in on the word retirement. What is retirement and why should you stop saving for retirement specifically? Well, retirement, if you look at the dictionary definition, is the action or fact of leaving one's job and ceasing to work. Right? This concept in our society of retirement overall seems to be I start working in my 20s, I put in 40 years at some company that I don't enjoy. I don't like the people, I don't enjoy the work, but I'm paying my dues, saving little by little so that one day I can walk out the door and say, I'm done with all of you. I have enough to sustain myself and I can go do whatever I want. I can kick it back on the beach, relax, be in full control of my time, not have to answer to anyone, and just live the good life. I can go play golf every single day with my buddies without having to worry about the stress of work or showing up and working for somebody else. That seems to be the general concept of retirement. Now, slight variations of that maybe, but overall, the underlying principle in retirement, even though we seem to think of it as this point where you hit 65 and you don't have to work anymore because there's some magic age, right? The underlying principle is actually financial freedom. You're looking for a day where you're not tied to a income producing work that you don't enjoy doing. All right. So there's a couple of ways to kind of throw this concept out. One is to find a job that makes enough money to sustain you and your family if you have one, uh, that you enjoy. So if you enjoy your work, you don't work a day in your life, right? Okay. Well, that's not 100% true because I enjoy my work, but there are days where there are challenges. All right. No one is going to like their job 100% of the time. It's just not possible, no matter how great your job is. But back to this concept of retirement, putting in 40 years of, miserable work so that one day you have control to do what you want. Well, the underlying principle of retirement is really financial freedom. All right. And you may be blessed enough to hit that when you were born. You might have been born into a family where you just have been given financial freedom because your family has so much that your grandparents were living off of that wealth, and your parents have lived off of that wealth, and now you're living off that wealth, and you're free to go backpack through Europe and create that business with very little risk because you have the money to do it straight from the get go. Or you get out of college, you have a great, maybe engineering job where you're making $200,000 as a single person. You're part of the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. You're saving 75% of your income, living on 25%. And from 22 to 30, you do that. By the time you hit 30, you've got $3 million in the bank. You know exactly what your need to have as passive income off of that. And so you walk out the door from your job. Well, part of that, that may be the case, but you're not going to cease to work, right? No one is going to cease to work. If you cease to work, you're very quickly going to lose focus. You're going to lose purpose in your life because I believe we were created to work. I think it's inherent in who we are is to be a productive member of society, right? So if you have a definition for work, it may be slightly different than that, but to me, it's to be a productive member of society, contributing to the whole through whatever it is. If you're a janitor, you're contributing to society by keeping something clean because if filth builds up, none of us can live in this world if the filth builds up so high that we're just overrun by trash and filth. So all work has dignity. It doesn't matter what it's paid. The dignity of work is not tied to how much money it makes, even though our society will tell you that it is not. You are meant to be a productive member of society. And by doing that, there's dignity in that. There's dignity in working for your day's wage. So the goal of one day ceasing to work, to sit back and just selfishly indulge in whatever you want with no care about what anyone else says you should be doing is just absurd, in my opinion. So I think that we should throw out this entire concept of retirement. You should still save. I mean, it is great. Many reasons to save. Save for unexpected things in the future, like an emergency fund where, something happens to your house and you have to come out of pocket for that. You don't have to go into debt, but you've got that savings, saving for a medium term goal where you want to buy a house because you don't want to pay rent to someone else every day, but you want to build up some equity and start building some assets and saving for yourself to get to a point where you can be financially free from having to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. Now, don't take that the wrong way either. There are things that we don't want to do that we have to do because we're responsible adults. I'm not saying that you just get to do whatever you want when you're financially free. What I'm saying is it opens up this level of freedom where maybe right now you want to do something that doesn't really generate income, but it's work, right? And not all work generates income. I mean, you can see this. There's people who work at food pantries who help the homeless and the people who don't have as much. And so it doesn't provide any income. They rely on donations. But you want to get to a point where, hey, I want to do this. I want to serve other people where I have a passion for something that doesn't really produce an income, but it's still a contributing part of society. Like there's still value in this, even though it's not something I can sell to other people. And so being financially free could free you up to do that type of work. So again, the concept of ceasing to work, complete garbage. You need to do away with that. Your goal is to save up enough to where you're not going to be reliant upon someone else to provide for you, and you're not reliant upon having to physically labor, because honestly there is going to come a point where you can't physically labor anymore, and so you need to have enough saved up to provide for your ongoing costs to be alive, housing, food, medical, without being a burden to another person. So you're saving up for that, but bigger picture, you're saving up for financial freedom, to be able to not be tied to a specific type of work, even though you're going to continue to work and be a contributing part of society. So those are just some thoughts here on why you should stop saving for retirement, why you should reframe retirement. Maybe we need to throw that word out altogether because it has a lot of baggage. Financial freedom maybe also seems to have a lot of baggage. I mean, it's not this idea of I'm financially free, so I don't have to answer to anybody and I can just do what I want to do. There may be an element of that, but you still have to, be a contributing member of society. There's still going to be things that you're passionate about. There are good things that you want to do. And so that's kind of what you're saving up for, is the ability to not be tied to something that you have to do, but to free yourself up to be able to do the things that you're called to do as your purpose in life. And one way to do that is to build up savings, to be wise. I mean, it's not hoarding to save. There is a way to save and hoard where you have just excessive amounts of more than what you need because you're fearful or because you just find value in how much money you have or assets you have. But that's kind of one extreme. The other extreme is not saving anything, and then you run the risk of burdening other people because you've been frivolous and you've spent, and you said, let's just spend everything we have on whatever we want, and you're just frivolous with your money. There's this wisdom in saving an appropriate amount for the future, for those things that are unexpected, but also to be able to provide for yourself without having to do that physical labor that you once had to do, because there's going to come a day where, one, you can't do it, and maybe hopefully a day sooner than you can't physically labor, that you become financially free, that will free you up to do the things that you've wanted to do, whether they bring in income or not, but are still, productive parts of society and contributing to everyone. My name's Brad. I'm with Wooten CPA. My goal is to bring peace to your tax and accounting responsibilities. One of the ways I do that is through these videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe, like this video, share it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching.